In this video, I explain you the structure of your values profile in form of the universal continuum of human values, as well as structure of your top 3. I will focus on here these 20 values and some of the first higher categories, but then explain the rest in the next video. So we focus more on the center of the graphic for right now. And you see the values visualized, which are 20 different values in form of the sunburst diagram. And the further values goes to the outside in color, the more important that seems to be. And the border of this gray layered circle here is your personal average across all values. So whatever goes beyond that seems to be relatively important to you. And the 3 that go to the furthest outside here, self-direction, achievement, and phase for this person are the top 3 values currently based on the results. And this continuum was developed over more than 40 years. It was mainly developed by the professor Shalom Schwartz, and we collaborated with him and also refined the model and used in addition the strongest motivational theory, which is self-determination theory, and one of the strongest therapy lines, which is acceptance and commitment therapy, to create a package for you that not only creates clarity, but also helps you to bring your values into action. So jumping into the different values, we have here on the upper left the self-transcendence cluster or quadrant, you can also call it, where you have the benevolence values, where you start to say people are important beyond just myself. So there's other people than myself, and I start with my inner heart. So if you are here very strong, you focus importance on your inner heart, taking care of your family, your friends, being also dependable for them. So it's important for you that they can rely on you, that you are honest to them, that you are trustworthy. Universalism values go even further. There you start to put importance on people that you don't know. You start to concern about people in other countries, for example, and also start to tolerate people that are totally different than you. And you say it's important that people do that. And then it doesn't stop with humans in the self-transcendence cluster, also goes beyond that to nature. So if this is high, it means that it's important for you to spend time in nature, to protect nature. And for this person, this upper left quadrant seems to be not as important as other things, like, for example, here the openness to change values, which we move now. We start with self-direction of thought and action. Self-direction of thought means that it's important for you to make up your own opinion, to think freely, to be creative. And self-direction of action is that you can do basically what you want and can decide what you do and are not so dependent on other people. For a lot of people that are totally self-directed, it's important, for example, to work in an environment where they have a lot of autonomy. Then we have stimulation, that it's important for you to set yourself regularly new challenges. It's that you see challenges as something where you can grow, that it's not really a threat for you. And then we have the health value, where it's about the importance you put on your physical and psychological health. And then we move slowly to the self-enhancement values, where we start with hedonism, and hedonism is often seen as a negative word, and I understand that, but it represents basically 2 facets. The one is being really in the present moment, enjoying the moment, and the other is this more sensuous gratification. And then we have the achievement value, which says that it's important for you to stand out, to be among the best based on your own standards, but also sometimes based on external standards. So it's a transition value between where you focus on external standards versus focusing on internal standards. And then we have the power values, power of dominance, power through dominance, and power through resource dominance, meaning that you want to say other people what to do, you can exert some power over them. Power through resources, that you have enough resources to do certain things in life, to influence also certain things. And then we have the face value, which means that it's important for you not to lose the face in front of others. So not to get humiliated, for example, in a presentation. People who are high there often tend to not do things where they could get humiliated. Then we have security. Personal security is that you put importance on feeling safe inside you when you are somewhere, and societal security more this importance that your state is strong, that it can protect itself from other states. And then we move to tradition, where you put emphasis on preserving cultural, family, or also religious traditions. And we have the conformity values, conformity towards rules, that you say, it's important for me to comply to rules, to laws and formal obligations. And then interpersonal conformity, it's more about that you look for harmony, that you want to adapt to other people, that you're highly agreeable. And then we have humility, where you start putting yourself a bit back and saying, I'm not the most important person here in the universe, so there are things that are much more important to me. So you put yourself out of the center of your thinking, and this is important for you that other people also do that. And then we have the top 3, and here it's self-direction, it's achievement, and it's phase, which you will see on the next page. But before we move there, what I recommend is go through each of the values you have there, try to understand the definition of them, and then reflect on yourself. Is that true for me? Because that's the best and most valid model that is out there, but still it's just one additional objective on your personal values. At the end, you need to decide what values do you own, what values do you have true resonance through. And you will also see that there are different types of values when it comes to what is really coming from the inside and what rather from the outside. But that you will see more in the next section. So go through the values, try to see which are the ones that I really want to own and which are the ones that are not so important for me. And then also use for that this top 3 section, where you see your top 3, and those should be the ones that are really important for you right now. And you will see here an in-depth description what they mean. And then in the last sentence, also kind of a call to action. And sometimes the call to action is bring that more into practice, challenge yourself more, integrate that in that a certain way. And these call to actions are very specific to you. But there's also sometimes the call to action to reflect more on that value. And why you have to reflect on some, and for the others, there's more push to integrate that. You will see that with the differentiation of intrinsic and extrinsic values later in the next video, after you have get more clarity here, move to the next section where you can then get a better understanding of also the higher categories.